Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and welcome to another Path of Exile video. I'm going to be doing a video I haven't done in quite some time, which is going to be a budget build, a very budget build. All of the primary pieces of gear are dirt cheap, and I'm going to go into that. It is a summoner, and currently I have been able to take it up to tier 14 with nothing higher than a 4 link. I do have a 6 link here, but I am only using 4 links on it. And yeah, it's mostly based on the specifically ice specters. Initially the ice goats that are found in the end of Act 4 in the Ascent. So you can start using this as soon as you hit the end of Act 4 because the piece of gear that enables this will be available. And then eventually, once you get a little bit later on, using the Frost Sentinels from Lunaris Concourse. So if you haven't guessed, we brought back our good old friend Bitter Dream. We've used this in previous budget builds. In this case specifically, we're using it for our Spectre. The way the build's going to work is we're going to get functionally an 8 link. If you don't know, Spectres do use mana, but I don't know if you're able to get inspiration stacks from this or not. You don't seem to be able to get frenzy charges from Ice Bite, unfortunately, so that is one of the downsides. So it's kind of more like a 7 link, but it is still very powerful. I have been able to clear up until tier 14 maps with it, and monster level 81 delves I've been doing with it as well. And it uses Raise Spectre, greater multiple projectiles, and I'm using Pierce, but you can also use faster projectiles for a longer aggro range. You can use Spell Echo, and you can use Feeding Frenzy. Any of these will work just as well. So you use it on a 3 link, and it works really well. Lots and lots of damage. Still a lot more damage we can get simply by having a level 21 Raise Spectre, but at the moment we only have a level 20. Still quite powerful though. And the other piece of gear that's required is +1 to level of all Raised Spectre gems. You can get this through Bones of Euler instead, or you can. This is a very bad set of fossil crafted boots using the minion fossil. But other than that, that's pretty much the only other piece of gear requirement. So Bitter Dream is 1 alteration, and Bones of Euler are 1 fusing. I'm also using a Rise of the Phoenix, which is a very attainable. It's usually 1 Vol Orb or 1 Elk currently. Very attainable. This isn't even a particularly well rolled one. It's exact middle in both resist and life. So you can probably get a better rolled one for relatively cheap, less than a chaos still. And then I'm using Tomb Fists, which are also 1 elk. And once again, this is a completely average one, just to kind of showcase. And outside of that, you just get life and resistances. I currently have 5,800 life. I am using double golems, specifically with the Golem Commander Gem, and we are using Summon Chaos Golem and Summon Carrion Golem. With minion damage and minion life. It is nice to have a bone helmet for the extra minion damage, but the reason I'm using double golem is because it turns out Golem Commander and the nodes associated with it are very good. They have a total of 70% increased golem effect, and with a Summon Chaos Golem, that means you're getting physical damage reduction, which adds on to the physical damage reduction we get from Bone Barrier, which is 10%, as well as the physical damage reduction we're getting from Soul of Steel, which is 5%. So we get 15% from those 2 sources. Currently, with my Chaos Golem, I am getting 4% with an additional. On top of that, I'm getting an additional 2%, so a total of 6%. However, once I get the total level of my Chaos Golem to 22, it'll be 5% plus an additional 3% for a total of 8%. So as you can see, my estimated physical damage reduction is 36%, which, considering I only have a little less than 2,200 armor, is insanely good, and it will be 38% once I level up my Summon Chaos Golem a little bit. very powerful, but that's not the only reason we're doing it. The other reason being that the effect of Summon Carrion Golem is flat physical damage. So we're currently getting 33 to 49 additional physical damage for non-golem minions, which includes our specters and zombies. And so we're getting 70% more than that, which is extremely, extremely powerful. It's several abyssal jewels, which, speaking of, I'm currently only using 3 abyssal jewels, and they're all fairly mediocre. This one has 33% life, some minion movement speed, and a very low physical damage to minions roll. This one has 23 life, 7% increased attack speed and cast speed if your minions have killed recently, and some hinder chance. This one has 26% life, some minion movement speed, and some minion attack and cast speed. So these are all very attainable through just regular jewel crafting, nothing that would be like a 5 or 10. These would maybe be 1 chaos or so jewels. I also purposefully spec'd out of my other 3 jewel slots, this one here, this one here, and this one here, just to show you that I'm kind of going bare bones here. I'm purposely running a 4 link on it to test it. And let's go ahead, and I am using some pretty okay gear, just life and resistances though, nothing spectacular. All resist life, some dex, all resist life, and then nothing else of consequence at all. And then this one I have high cold resist, some life, some int, and which really is of no consequence, and then the all elemental resistance and minion all resistance on this. The only good piece of gear I have is this high life Stygian Vice, really, and the rest of my gear is kind of not so good. This would be good if it was a 6 link, but for purposes of this, it's not. So really bad gear. I guess this helmet's pretty decent too. The +1 to minion gems, some life, and some regen. Really not even. It's just good for the minions do 20% increased damage. So as far as the skill tree goes, we go up through Deep Wisdom, through the minion stuff, through to Arcanist Dominion, through the life, heart, and soul, up through Lord of the Dead, and then we are probably going to scooch on over down here, grab the life down here, grab Grave Pact as soon as possible while leveling, and then we're going to go up through this life, through this jewel slot. If we don't want to get this jewel slot because we don't have any abyssal jewels just yet, then instead we'll grab this node and go to golems, because by that point we'll have our golems, and as soon as we get our 2 golems, it'll be really nice to get that physical damage reduction, and you can just go through and grab these later. If you don't even want to grab the jewel slot, you can have some additional points to play around with, so that is an option. Then we're going to go up and grab Fearsome Force. We're going to grab Death Attunement for the additional Spectre. Might even want to get that before we get to Golem Commander. The main reason we're going through here is to grab Agility. We need a decent amount of Dex to function properly here. Then we're going to go down, grab the Life here, go down, grab Sacrifice, grab Spiritual Command, Righteous Army, Redemption, down to Devotion, and we can grab this jewel slot. Oh yeah, I did have an additional jewel slot, so you can grab this. Completely unnecessary though. And also this is a 2 slot, so I could right now just respec. So this is even inefficient. I could grab these 2 jewel slots for the price of this one and throw those in. So what you're seeing could be powered up a great deal. Then you go down, grab Constitution, go down, grab Soul of Steel and Bloodless, and that's pretty much it. So just grab a bunch of life at the end. Make sure you get Ravenous Horde at some point as well. Probably pretty early on, actually. You want to swing over and grab this fairly early. I think I may have mentioned that. So that's the skill tree. In terms of the order for your Ascendancy, you want Mindless Aggression, Unnatural Strength, Bone Barrier, and Commander of Darkness. You'll be using Summon Raging Spirits to level. And then as soon as you get your Spectres at the end of Act 4, you can stop. You'll use Zombies as well all the way through. Zombies are very powerful. From fairly early on, you'll notice they'll stop dying basically towards the end of Act 2. So very good. So dirt cheap build. Inefficient, still works. I'm probably going to re-optimize it once I'm done with this, but I'll put the path of building for you. And the fact that it's unoptimized is good as well because I'm level 91. You're not going to be level 91 right away, so the fact that I have a couple wasted points here and there is actually okay. So, and also, yes, if you are going to run 2 jewel slots instead, grab this, get rid of these 3 points, get rid of these 3 points, and grab this and this. So I didn't think that through extremely well, but here, I'll just spec out of those really quick on camera so you can see what I mean. All right, so we'll take this out, take this out. So to be more efficient, you would spec out of those, toss this up here, and then you would refund all of this, and then simply grab this and this. And as you can see, I got 2 more points. So it's like I'm level 89 right now. And where I would spend those 2 points, well, haven't put much thought into it, but probably just another jewel socket. So you can grab that. One thing to note, I'll go through my links now. Outside of the Spectres, I'm using Raise Zombie, Fortify, Feeding Frenzy, and Minion Life. You can use anything. You don't have to use Feeding Frenzy. You can use Meat Shield if you're having some issues with your zombies dying. There's a lot of different things you can use. You can use Multi-Strike. So you can use Elemental Army because we are using Hatred. As far as auras, I'm using Hatred and Zealotry. You should use Hatred and Skitterbots to start. The reason I'm able to use these is because I have a level 2 Zealotry, leaving me with a small amount. If you want to be able to use them with both Zealotry and Hatred without using Enlighten, you can get the reduced mana reservation. You only need to get the 2 points right here to get that. You don't need to go all the way down to Sovereignty, because you don't really need the mana once you have your Spectres. You can just, when you need to resummon stuff, you can just turn off your aura and yeah, resummon your zombies. It's no big deal. So the aura setup I have is Hatred, Zealotry, and Enlighten. And then as far as other things I have Flame Dash for movement speed. I have Frostbite as a curse, since we're going to be using cold-based Spectres with the Bitter Dream. I'm using Convocation, I'm using Desecrate, and Flesh Offering. So that's pretty much it. We even have some extra slots here to set up a defensive setup if we want. So yeah, it's a very, very cheap build. You could probably gear it for less than a chaos per item slot, which is very, very insane. There's a lot of upgrading you can do to it. And yeah, already capable of hitting end game red maps. I highly doubt it'll be able to take down Shaper in its current form. We'll have to do some optimization to it. But it is entirely possible that it will be able to. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this build. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming. Let me know if you want to see more budget builds in the future, and I will see you next time. Bye!